Okay, well, I thought about things some more. And well, with the help of my lovely team, um, I'm, I can't cross the thought of, like, who are you? Like, what am I in that situation is what I landed on and was like, I wanna vlog this. Hashtag vlog. Um, I wanna freaking talk about it so I don't freaking forget about it. Yeah, it's like, how do you experience changes in on the flip side? How would one know if they're in a one space dimensional world? I mean, how would one know that? Well, it just kind of is. You just kind of are in a 3D world. You can't not be in a 3D world. And yeah, that's also true. You can't not be experiencing everything and thinking about everything, comprehending everything from the perspective of, I am in a 3D spatially world. Uh, and yeah, and like, I feel like a big clue as to how, we view time would be like, how good are your memories? You know what I mean? Like, not saying that, you know, like, you only know that 3 dimensions of space exist because there's something to your left, there's something before you, and there's something above you. But, like, yeah, where it's just like, if you were to, like, think about it like that, that's how that would work. You know what I mean? But, like, that's how the brain knows that it lives in a 3D world, because there's 3 fucking dimensions. It's just how it is. It's just plain and simple. And, like, that's not a bad, that's how it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, like, it's kind of like, that's a chair. It just is a chair. You know what I mean? I'm me. I'm just me. You know what I mean? Like Reiki with Jenny says, the Reiki woman says, Jenny Lubick, freaking love her, freaking Jesus lovers across the world. No, love her though. Like she freaking says, the ocean doesn't, as deep as the ocean, by the way, is like your subconscious. It's like infinite, you know what I mean? It quite literally is infinite. In all the ways, you know what I mean? Infinitely infinite, or infinities on top of infinities. So yeah, like a Mandelbrot set. So yeah, like, what does the universe, what does it look like when it's zoomed out all the way? Like the universe, or, to the best of our capabilities right now. Because, I think of, like, cosmic background radiation as, like, that's just our human limit. We can't go beyond that, but it's just kind of like, honestly, I feel like we're just not stretching our imaginations enough, right? We're not looking at it right, you know what I mean? I feel like, yeah, that's just, like, my thoughts on that, you know what I mean? And then, freaking, like, to the best of our ability, that's what it looks like. The picture of our observable universe is, like, that's what the Mandelbrot set, like, is an analogy for the zoomed out Mandelbrot set, because it's like, it's just a series of infinities that you can just zoom in and out on. Haha, phrasing. But I think that's pretty beautiful if you think about it, like, in a McDonald's perspective, you know what I mean? Where it's just like, here's me, and then everything else is my wife, you know what I mean? So that means she's infinitely beautiful. Or rather, you can go in and out and in and out. Gonna kill myself. Infinitely beautiful. Point is, gonna kill myself. Oh yeah, right? Where it's just like it can go in and out of you all the times if you want a Stevie. I'm gonna kill myself. I love it here. Spoopily spooky. I'm a silly boy. I'm gonna kill myself. Point is, infinitely in and out. Gonna kill myself. Is all you need to know, young Steepleton, if you're listening. Point is, you did. Gonna kill myself. Or you can, and I'm like just very paranoid. That's always a possibility. What is it? What? Yeah. I'm gonna kill myself now. Yeah, and like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, the flip side of zooming out is kind of like boring. It's like, you know, whatever, quarks. It's like fuzz. It's literally like fuzz that moves around in different ways, and it's like whatever, you know what I mean? Also freezing all the time, but like, you know, it's just kind of like maybe that's a thing with like, you know, the observer effect, because, you know, like there's just quite literally less possibilities when somebody's looking at you and looking at you with like I think this is a huge important note, because I never really got to the point, or I'm not really yet to the point of like in that spooky energy healing video, which is what I was talking about before with like earlier me, like I'm psychic, so we're able to talk to each other. I was gonna say that I haven't gotten yet to the point where it's like I say this like he's, you know, doing stuff for me, but like, yeah, where it's just like, what the fuck do you mean earlier me needs to help current me out? You know what I mean? Like, what type of backwash bullshit is this? You know what I mean? Like, I don't backwash, like I like, what is this? Like, what the fuck type of hell am I living in where a younger version of me needs to help older me out? That's fucking retarded. That's just plain retarded. And probably why life is bad and shit, like, right? Which is why I'm like, no, you do whatever the fuck you want to do here with me, and like, it's pretty much just been that, you know what I mean? And then like us talking about physics and jacking off together. Yeah, cause, you know, whatever. Astral projecting so he can jack off in my body. I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of aspirations for that video. Point is, not the point. I'm like gonna kill myself. I just want him to laugh. I'm like, he didn't forget his funnies. It's just like, you know, like, why was that bad? I feel like, I don't know. I just don't like the heavy energy in that video. It's like, what the fuck is happening? It's like, I don't know. I straight up don't know. So, you know, probably good idea. Who knows where that came from? To just stop watching it for a second. Let me like calm the fuck down. You know what I mean? Let me not be so intense right now. Have some time away from it. Not that I want that, but like, I'm just like doing it pretty much, yeah, as like a science experiment to just, yeah, pretty much see what happens, aka to fail. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure if I left it on right now, for example, and like just had it on right now and like, you know, just kept it playing, like, I don't know, like, it just is very weird, because it's like, what is considered watching? Is even thinking about a person gonna change their behavior? Maybe yes, entirely, you know what I mean? If it's that strong, which it is, you know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on being Thor. But like, my whole thing with being God is exactly where it's just like, can I use that to my benefit? Where it's just like, can I make everybody think I'm doing well, or am going to be doing, or you know what I'm getting at with that, and then have that be like, okay, so let's make that happen now. Like, let's make you live the best life possible. Exactly. So anyways, all the stuff, all the things. Because, yeah, exactly. Right now, it's just like, why aren't I? You know what I mean? Like, why the fuck aren't I? You know what I mean? Where's my fucking money? You know what I mean? Where's my damn White House? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Fucking hell, man. But yeah, all that just to say, like, we don't really, like, who are we in this situation? The experimenters, yes, but the scientists, yes, but, like, experiencers is what I was mostly getting at. Like, we're, god damn it, I almost said experimenters again. Like, living beings, yeah, it's true. Not robots. Who are experiencing all of this, going through all this to be like, okay, what is this? What is anything that? What is this? What is that? What is that? What is, what happens if I do XYZ? What happens if I don't do XYZ? What happens if I do ABC? What happens if I do ABC? You know what I mean? All of the fucking things, all the mistakes, all the bad stuff. Goodbye. Get the fuck away from me. But yeah, it's just kind of like, and I, like, that's the human part to science. Absolutely. Accidents and mistakes and exactly experiments. It's experimental. That's what makes it experimental. You know what I mean? It's an experiment. We're testing stuff. But yeah, like, you don't think of, like, space as being one-dimensional, so it's kind of hard to, like, envision that. But, like, with screens, it's, and, like, with, like, books and stuff, it's easier to imagine that two-dimensional world, which makes envisioning a one-dimensional world extremely easy, because it's just kind of like, oh no, yeah, it goes left and right. There's no such thing as forward, backwards, and up and down. You know what I mean? So if you can, like, envision that and going from one thing to the next with space, then going from one to the next with time is no big deal. You know what I mean? Or it shouldn't feel like that. Because right now I feel like, again, we're taught that time only moves in the direction that, which is really weird. We experience it, which makes the thought, oh, so does space move in one direction? Or are we taught that space only moves in one direction and it doesn't? You know what I mean? Very interesting thought. Something I didn't catch before. Because again, I want to be drunkies right now. I want to be wine drunk. It is 4 a.m. almost, and I want to be wine drunk right now. I want to go to sleep. Yeah, I need my sleepies. I'm really sleepy. Sleep deprived, I mean, say. But this is still something I think I can fully flesh out, sleep deprived and all. And again, like I said, human experiments. Experiment means accidents, science, mistakes, testing, you know what I mean? Not like succeeding first try, you know what I mean? But if, again, if I'm doing that right now, or if that's what I'm used to doing, or whatever, that's more than fine too. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's just kind of like harder for the brain to imagine those things than the things that we've been taught, ? Which honestly makes me really think about my experiences, yeah, with, the Jews and maybe probably the CIA, but mostly the Jews as a kid, where it's like, oh, like, that's my life, you know what I mean? Like, that's the end result of all of that, is like being just very genuinely disappointed in like not what I did, but like what was already happening, you know what I mean? So it's like nobody likes having to be the person to fix other people's problems, because like even if I'm everything in God and like, you know, that technically is my problem because it's technically me, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, fix it your fucking selves, you know what I mean? So just like having to deal with that thought, you know, was just very like, ugh. Or I'm retarded and I'm just plain retarded, you know what I mean? That's okay too. You know what I mean? Yeah. But core memory unlocked, for me, freaking, what is it? Heads Up, 7 Up. Yes. Fucking loved that game. Yeah, I can genuinely tell that like other people think a lot, like in a praise good light, about me just for thinking that, but it's just like no, like I genuinely think that's like, I just genuinely don't think I'm all that like much of anything, and like that is the grandiose of everything, because it's like Wizard of Oz. It's like, no, I'm just here, I'm just chilling. That's about as much as I can do. Exactly. I'm like, I got my limits as a man. A man has his limits, and they all correlate to Ian Bridges, because, you know, my brain can't work if I'm not getting my healthy freaking, what is it? Libido. You know what I mean? My sexual desires fulfilled. You know what I mean? A man needs that. You know what I mean? In order for his brain to work properly. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, you know, like, fuck all this shit if I can't even fucking think properly. You know what I mean? See, I meant to say if I can't have a boyfriend, and that's my brain. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kill myself. Point is, I think it's really interesting how that's a thing, and I'm like, I'm still trying to imagine it right now in my mind's eye, and I'm just like, my brain is breaking. And yeah, like, you don't envision you don't envision space as moving in any direction in particular. And it's just like, the sad thing is, you know, like I was saying with cosmic background radiation, it's like we say there's a limit, but we always say it's like our observable, you know, limit. That's what we know right now. You know what I mean? Like, not saying that's everything that can be known. We're just saying that's what we know right now. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's very, you know, like accurate for, fucking hell, man. So many core memories being thought of right now. Yes, absolutely, yes. Probably the plan, actually, though, because, like, fuck. Yeah, keep going, he likes it. Later. Yeah, yeah, I'm a very simple human being. I'm a very, very simple man. And extremely, excruciatingly, I heard, simple man. And that's okay. That's like, you know, we got our limits. Like I said, I need my sleep. Always have needed my sleep, just because it's like, you know, that's smart, is it not? So do all that. Wait for me, first of all, y'all in the CIA. Like, wait for me. I wanna do it myself. Exactly. I get very mad when other people do stuff for me, because it's just like, fuck you mean you did it for me? You know what I mean? Like, don't do that if I can do it just later. You know what I mean? So wait for me. It's gonna be like 3 days tops. I just need my sleep. Like I said, yeah. And I'm gonna finish this thought right now. Where it's like, you go beyond, you know, like I was saying, you're just looking at it wrong. Where it's just like, you do that. I said later. Literally later. And see, that's like, with my energy healing shit and stuff, I didn't fucking immediately get a win. I like took a long time to actually fucking get somewhere productive, you know what I mean? Somewhere like we're both on the same page and able to do stuff together, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be a very fucked up thing, yes. Point is, fucking hell, man. Yeah.